Do English verb tenses drive you crazy? Are you keen to learn how to use each of them correctly? In this video, let's have a look at how to use past simple together. Hi, I'm Andrew from Always English. Let's review the use of past simple. We use past simple to talk about actions that started and finished in the past. For example, I went to the beach yesterday, or I lived in London in 2014. It is also possible to use past simple to talk about the past without referring to a specific time, but it must have previously been made clear that the action happened at a specific time in the past. For example, we danced all night, or we talked on the phone. You can see in the first two examples, I refer to a specific time, yesterday and 2014. But in the third and fourth example, there's no time reference. With the examples which don't have a time reference, it's likely that they were answering a question, and in the question, the speaker referred to a specific time. For example, what did you do last night? Or the speaker might have already given some information before giving the next part of the sentence. So they might have said, last night I saw my friend. We danced all night. It's possible to use past simple to talk about one action or many actions. Let's look at some examples of just one action. We danced last night. We talked for 1 hour. We laughed at the movie. With the following question, you can answer the question by giving details of one action or many actions. What did you do yesterday? And if we give many actions, we could say, I went to work in the morning. I went to the gym in the afternoon. I cooked dinner in the evening. Now it's your turn to do some practice. Think about yesterday. Think about what you did. What did you do in the morning? What did you do in the afternoon? And what did you do in the evening? Are you thinking? Press pause, write your answers in the comments, and I'll check them for you. With the English language, we have regular verbs and irregular verbs, and all verbs have a base form or infinitive, such as work or to work, laugh or to laugh, drink or to drink. With most but not all regular verbs, we simply add ed to the end of the verb to create the past simple form. Talked, worked, laughed. Easy, right? But we can't do that with every regular verb. If the regular verb ends in the letter Y, we need to remove the Y, add I, and add ed. For example, cry. We remove the Y, add ied, and it becomes cried. Or try. Remove the Y, add ied, and it becomes tried. If the regular verb ends in E, we simply add D. For example, love. Add D and it becomes loved. Or we've got like. Add D and it becomes liked. And if the last three letters in the verb are in the format of consonant, vowel, consonant, just as a reminder, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and consonants are every other letter in the alphabet. So if you've got consonant, vowel, consonant, you need to double the last letter and then add ed. Let's look at an example. We've got stop. So look at stop. We can see consonant, vowel, consonant as the last three letters. The last letter is P, so we add a second P and ed, and it becomes stopped. Now, not all regular verbs in past simple have the same sound at the end. We've got three different sounds. We've got t, t, that's sound one. We've got ud, sound two. And we've got d, which is sound three. Okay, so with the t sound, I'm showing you now which words need to end with the t sound. If the verb ends in the following letters or sounds, then the sound would be t. We've got f, k, s, ch, sh, ks. And the examples, surf becomes surfed. Kick becomes kicked. Kiss, kissed. Watch, watched. Wash, washed. Fix, fixed. Let's have a look at some examples with the ud sound. We use the ud sound with verbs ending in d or t. And the examples, melt becomes melted. End, ended. And we use the d sound with all other verbs ending with other letters. Listen becomes listened. Play, played. But we do also have a lot of irregular verbs. With irregular verbs, they don't follow any of the rules we've just talked about. What you need to do with irregular verbs is learn them individually. Here's a few examples. Be, was or were. Go, went. Eat, ate. Sing, sang. We can use past simple to form positive sentences, negative sentences, and also to form questions. Let's have a look at some examples of how we form positive sentences with past simple. I went to the beach yesterday. I watched a movie last night. She studied English last year. When we form a negative sentence with past simple, we need to use the verb to do as an auxiliary verb, and the past form of do is did. Shall we look at some examples? Okay. I didn't study Spanish at school. They didn't go on holiday last year. We didn't speak for 1 week. And also, when forming a question with past simple, we also use do in its past form did as an auxiliary verb when forming the question. We've got 2 types of questions. We've got yes, no questions. Let's have a look at some examples of how to use past simple when asking a yes, no question. Did they have a party? Did you eat breakfast this morning? But it is important to remember the verb to be is an exception to this rule. With the verb to be, you don't need to use do as an auxiliary verb. For example, was she hungry? Or were they tired? And also we've got WH question words. With the WH question words, we add that to the beginning of the question, and we also need to use do as an auxiliary verb. Here are some examples. Where did you go? Who did you go with? What did you do? And of course, as before, with the verb to be, we don't need to use the auxiliary verb do. And we can say, who was there? Why was he late? Okay, and here's a little bit of time for you to practice. I'm going to give you 5 verbs in their present base form, and I want you to tell me what the past simple form is. Eat, jump, cry, go, sing. Write your answers in the comments and I'll check them for you. That's exercise 1. Exercise 2, what I want you to do is think of 1 or 2 questions using a WH question word to ask me. Write your question in the comments and I'll check them and I'll send the answer to you. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next session.